Lolo Ferrari, born Ève Valois, was a French dancer, actress, and singer who garnered international fame in the 1990s as the woman with the largest breast implants in the world. Her hyperbolic appearance and short-lived celebrity status made her a symbol of extremity in body modification and pop culture spectacle. This video delves into Ferrari's life and public persona, not merely to recount the tabloid-ready elements of her biography, but to examine her as a cultural phenomenon emblematic of a society obsessed with fame, beauty, and spectacle. To understand Ferrari's rise and fall, we must contextualize her within late 20th century European and global media culture. During the 1990s, the explosion of reality television, tabloid journalism, and sensationalist media created a climate ripe for figures like Ferrari. The body became a site of spectacle, consumption, and even protest. Within this framework, Ferrari's body, manipulated through extensive plastic surgery, was both her claim to fame and a visual manifestation of the era's obsession with extreme visibility. The thesis of this video is that Lolo Ferrari's life and death reflect the dangers of a cultural landscape that commodifies the body, sensationalizes identity, and neglects the mental health consequences of media exploitation. Her story is not merely one of personal tragedy, but a cautionary tale about the costs of celebrity in an era of hyperexposure. Lolo Ferrari's body was not merely her own, it was a constructed site of performance, commerce, and cultural discourse. Her extensive plastic surgeries, reportedly over 20 breast augmentations, transformed her from Ève Valois into an international spectacle. Her surgically enhanced figure, coupled with platinum blonde hair and stylized makeup, aligned her with a hyperfeminine archetype exaggerated to the point of surrealism. Ferrari herself described her body as a work of art, and in some respects it was, engineered to provoke, astonish, and sell. This transformation speaks volumes about the intersection of identity, autonomy, and media. While Ferrari claimed ownership of her decisions, her transformation was deeply influenced by her husband and manager, Ève Valois, who was later accused of coercing her into surgeries to fuel her career. The line between self-expression and exploitation becomes blurred in such a scenario. Ferrari's body became a commodity, not just for herself, but for those who stood to profit from her image. She embodied the media's ideal object, shocking, marketable, and ultimately disposable. In the broader context, Ferrari's body reflected a cultural obsession with transformation and the belief that fame could be engineered. Her implants earned her a place in the French Guinness Book of Records and appearances on international talk shows, including the UK's Eurotrash. These appearances underscored how the global media apparatus capitalized on grotesque beauty and turned Ferrari into both a curiosity and a cautionary figure. Her exaggerated features rendered her simultaneously powerful and powerless, commanding attention but stripped of agency.
Ferrari's fame cannot be disentangled from the cultural machinery that produced and consumed her. Her rise to notoriety in the mid-1990s coincided with a shift in media priorities from substance to spectacle. Television and tabloids increasingly favored visual shock over narrative complexity. Ferrari's image, instantly arresting and without the need for contextualization, was perfect for this new media ecosystem. Her regular appearances on the British TV show Eurotrash exemplify this trend. There, she was presented as a living oddity, introduced with fanfare and absurdity, her life and body reduced to sound bites and soft-core titillation. These segments rarely offered insight into her thoughts or feelings, instead portraying her as a passive object of ridicule and awe. Ferrari's own aspirations as a singer and actress were routinely overshadowed by her breasts, which had become her primary claim to fame. This reduction of identity to physicality is not unique to Ferrari, but is symptomatic of how fame increasingly favored those willing to trade privacy and integrity for visibility. In the postmodern celebrity marketplace, the body became currency, and visibility equaled value. Ferrari's case illustrates how women, in particular, were incentivized to distort or mutilate themselves to meet the ever-escalating demands of visual culture. Her fame did not emerge from talent alone, but from her willingness, whether freely chosen or coerced, to become a caricature. Ferrari's psychological struggles were deeply intertwined with her public image. From a young age, she reported experiencing depression and low self-esteem, feelings that were seemingly exacerbated by her transformation and subsequent fame. While media outlets focused obsessively on her surgeries and performances, few investigated the emotional toll such a life exacted. In interviews, Ferrari occasionally alluded to the emptiness behind her persona. She reportedly felt trapped in an image that was no longer hers to control. Friends and acquaintances later described her as increasingly despondent, overwhelmed by fame, and manipulated by those closest to her. Her husband, whose control over her career and surgeries was widely criticized, loomed as a troubling figure in her life narrative. Though her death in 2000 was officially ruled a suicide by overdose, many questioned whether she had ever truly been in control of her fate.
The media's complicity in her demise cannot be ignored. Ferrari was celebrated as a spectacle, but dismissed as a person. Her emotional pain was often played for laughs, and her physical appearance was ridiculed even as it drew ratings. In a culture that dehumanizes the women it fetishizes, Ferrari was both adored and destroyed by the same audience. It would be simplistic to portray Ferrari solely as a victim. She repeatedly stated that she made choices about her body and career with intention. Some feminists have even argued that she exercised a form of agency by manipulating a system that objectified women. Her hyperfemininity, they argue, was a kind of performance art, an exaggerated parody that laid bare the absurdity of beauty standards. Yet this reading, while intellectually appealing, risks overlooking the context in which her choices were made. Agency exists on a spectrum, especially in systems rife with coercion, financial dependence, and psychological manipulation. Ferrari's story does not suggest empowerment so much as it does entrapment, both personal and cultural. Her performance was not subversive in a way that challenged norms. Rather, it reinforced them and ultimately consumed her. Lola Ferrari's life and death serve as a poignant narrative about the costs of living as a spectacle in an age of media excess. Her story encapsulates the pressures faced by women in the public eye, especially those whose bodies become their primary commodity. Through surgeries, television appearances, and tabloid coverage, Ferrari was both created and destroyed by a cultural machine that prizes novelty over humanity. This has examined the complex interplay between media, body politics, and mental health in Ferrari's life. Her surgically constructed identity and meteoric fame highlight society's uncomfortable relationship with female bodies and celebrity. Far from a tale of empowerment, Ferrari's story is one of systemic exploitation, cultural voyeurism, and personal despair.
The thesis, "The Ferrari's life reflects the dangers of commodifying the human body and the mental health consequences of media hypervisibility," remains painfully evident in her tragic end. As society continues to navigate the ethics of celebrity and the boundaries of body autonomy, Ferrari's life stands as both a cautionary tale and a call to reconsider how we consume, represent, and respect those we place in the spotlight. We must ask ourselves, when we consume such images and stories, Are we seeing the person or merely the product? The legacy of Lolo Ferrari implores us to look deeper and perhaps to demand better from our media and from ourselves. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.